Right, so for some reason it has kicked me off. Right, well, I'm not sure what happened there. Obviously Facebook didn't like me and it cut me off part way through. So let me see where that was up to before it stopped. Right, so we've got up to the pocket there. Then I'm going to do a pocket now, excuse me, to attach to the bottom right hand corner of the inside of the flap. So I'm going to get my glue and pop the glue on the flap. So this flap is 4 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Now the reason we do it at that, I've done it at that side, is so that once it's been folded you can get a 4 by 3 inch cut apart to go on there. It's entirely up to you if you want it in the bottom right hand corner or if you want it in the bottom left hand corner. Okay, so I'll move forward with that one. Just checking and waiting for people to catch up to me. For some reason right, okay, looks like it's working again. And people ask me why I don't like working with technology. So what we're going to do now, if I just put a sheet of card here, So we've got a flap on the front of our page. So what we're going to do now is do 2 pockets that go landscape, horizontal, whatever you want to call it, within this pocket. So there are 2 pockets on here that just sit side by side. So to make those, move that out of the way, we need to cut 2 at 6.5 by 5 inches. So 5 inches, oops, by 6.5. I hope this is still going out live and people can still see and hear me, because it really isn't playing well tonight, this Facebook malarkey. So there we go. So on these 2 we're going to score a simple U-shaped pocket, but this time we're going to score on the long side at 1/2 inch, and then on the shorter side, so on the 5 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. And we're going to do that on both pockets. Spin it round, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. Okay, so we're just going to trim the corners off like that. And do that on both pockets. Okay, so I'm going to fold that over and burnish the pockets down. Fold that over, and like I say, crease your edges really well. And do that on both your pockets. So let's just, oops. I hope Facebook is still playing. Okay. So these pockets are going to have the open end at the outside of the flap. So I'm going to pop the glue on like that. Oops. And then they're going to go just at the bottom on the front of the flap like that. Squidge that down. Like that, and then pop your glue on, making sure it goes on the hinges. And then we're going to line that up, and that will go just at the top, like that, so they meet in the middle. So now you've got two pockets, one there and one there. And they attach, you've got your flap, you've then got a large pocket here and a smaller pocket tuck spot for things to go in there. So I'm going to cut the photo inserts while we're here. So we need one at 7.5 by 7.5 for this large pocket. So 7.5. Just line that up and trim that down, and then while it's in there, mark it up to your 7.5. So that's one large photo mat that is going to just sit in that pocket. Then we're going to cut one at 4 and a quarter by 3 and a quarter. That's not quite big enough. So that's 3 and a quarter. So cut that by 4 and a quarter. And again, once you've got your backing paper on, that will just sit in there, or you can put it in there. And then you want 2 photo mats to go in these pockets here. So I'll show you there. So for these, you cut in 2 at 6.5 by 3 3/4. No, you're not. So 6.5 by 3 and 3/4 inches. So that is going to sit in there, and that will just slide in like that. So I need another one of those. So 6.5 by 3 and 3/4. Put those bits in the bin. So we've now got our photo mats to go in there, and in that one. Got a photo mat in there, and we've got photo mats in there. And there is one more to go in here, which is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. That's not wide enough. No, they're not wide enough. So 4 1/4. By by 6 1/4. So by doing them at these sizes, it does mean your 6x4 photograph will sit straight on there and you don't have to do anything with it. So like I said before, you've got a large pocket, so you can do a 7 1/2 inch square photo mat, you can do a 7x5 vertical or horizontal, and then you've also got a 6x4 mat that will go either way and will put your 6x4 photos on. So that's the front of page 1 and your pockets there. Now when I decorated this, I just put one large sheet of paper on. I didn't do them individually, I just put the one sheet on just to make, I want to say to make life easier, but just so it looked as if there was just one pocket, although there are 2. So moving on to the back of page 1. Hi Nicole, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Everything went off here and the Facebook just froze. No idea what's happening. So on the back of page 1, we're going to do a flap for the top of the page, excuse me, and 2 corner pockets for the bottom of the page. Now I'm sure people will have made these before, they are quite easy. So for the top flap, we need it 8 inches long by 5 inches. So trim that down to 5 inches, and that's my 8-inch mark. So I'm just going to trim that off. Now for this is the flap at the top of the page. So again, I'm just going to get my trimmer out, and 8 inches is the width of the page, so we're just going to score at 1/2 inch. Make sure it's straight. Like that. Then we're just going to fold that over. Ooh. And fold that down. So that's the back of our page, and we're just going to line it up with the top, and it will be a top flap for there. So pop the glue on again. And again, we're just going to line that up, the top of the page like that. Burnish that down. And just, so that's your top flap. So we just need the pockets to go at the bottom. So we're sure you've made these before. So we need 2 at 4.5 by 4 inches. So if you get a piece of A4 card and you cut it down to 4.5 inches, and then spin it round, and you want to cut it at 4 inches for these 2. So you will have a small amount left over, but that little bit can go in the bin. I do save off cuts of card, but not that short, small. So again, get our scoreboard out, and again we're going to score on 2 adjoining edges. So score 1 up there and 1 down there. Again, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, spin it round 90 degrees and score at 1/2 inch again. Then we're going to miter the corners off. It just gives a neater finish rather than have a bulky corner. We don't want bulky, you don't want bulky anything. So fold that over and burnish that down, and again fold that and burnish that down, and the same with the other pocket. So I'm just going to fold those in, crease the edges so you get a nice sharp crease. So back of page 1, so we've now got our flap at the top, and then we're going to put our pockets at the bottom on each corner like that. So they're going to go there. Now before we stick them on, we need to cut the corners off. So measure in 2 inches from your score line and pop a mark on there, and again measure 2 inches from your other score line, and that is the section that we'll be cutting off. So again on this one, measure 2 inches from your score line and 2 inches up from that score line, and that's the bit we'll be cutting off. So I'm just going to line this up on here, make sure you line it up top and bottom, and just cut that off like that. And again, just line it up. So you've cut your 2 corner pieces off. Okay. So you've now got 2 corner pockets on the front of, to go on the front of the page. I'm sure these fireworks are getting louder. So we're going to stick 1 on the bottom left hand corner and 1 on the bottom right hand corner. So glue on there, and stick that to the bottom left hand corner. Make sure you give that a good burnish, and again at the bottom right hand corner, get that lined up. So there we have it, and as you can see, stick that there. You can see you've got your 2 corner pockets. So we now need to go in here, a photo insert again, 7.5 by 7.5. That's that one. From this, I'm going to do a 7 by 5. I should get. So 5 inches, 5 by 7. So that's that one, and then I'm going to do a 7.5 by 7.5 photo mat. So the reason I do 7.5 by 7.5 is you can do a 7 by 5 photograph, you can do a 6 by 4, depending on your photographs. Once you've put your, so if you've got, I think I've got one, that is 6 by 4. So if you put your 6 by 4 photograph there, when you finish your book and you put all your photos in, you can then put a strip of pattern paper down there and along the bottom, or you can put it in the middle and put pattern paper down either side. You could put a 7 by 5 inch photograph on, which would be, I haven't got one big enough, I don't think. And that's slightly bigger. So your 7 by 5 photograph would go like that, and you can just put an extra strip of pattern paper down there. If you wanted, you could put one vertically, and then on the other side you could put it horizontally and use your pattern paper offcuts along there. So that will go inside there like that. Let me just cut this down to size and I can show you. So your 7 by 5 inch photo mat will go in there like that, and then you can put your photographs you can put a 7 by 5 photograph vertically or horizontally. So you've got that at the back. And then again, another photo mat, depending on your photograph, can either go horizontally or it can go vertically. It just depends on your photograph. So I'm going to take that out there. I need that. Pop the photo mats in there. Like that. So that is your page 1 done. Your photo mat's cut. And then you just need to decorate these. So if you want to decorate them during the week for your homework, for want of a better word, we can do that. I can't remember if I'm going to use the same patterns in the same places or if I'm going to change that up. So that's page 1 done. So we'll leave it there for now, and then next week we will work on page 2, front and back. So we'll get that sorted for you. Sorry about all the interruptions with the noise from the fireworks, but not an awful lot I can do about it because they won't shut up even if I ask them to. And apologies for the problems with Facebook, freezing, kicking me out, letting me back in again. What I'll do when I upload it onto YouTube, I'll try and put it into one video rather than it being 2. So we'll see what I'll see what I can do with that. Not sure why it happened. Yeah, Facebook is a law unto itself sometimes. So have a good weekend, enjoy your crafting. I'm actually going to do some crafting with Vicky Booton. She's got a class on at the moment. Unfortunately for her live, it is 12:30 in the morning, so I'll probably do that, watch it and catch up tomorrow. Have a lovely weekend everyone, and I will speak to you all or see you all next week. Take care.